Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular board meeting of the Cordova Recreation and Park District Board of Directors, Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. We're going to open this meeting at 6:31 p.m.
Members of the public can view the meeting live on YouTube, and the link is posted on the agenda. Members of the public are hereby notified that meetings of the Board of Directors are recorded, and requests for video and audio recordings may be made to the clerk of the board.
Thank you. Let's go into Pledge of Allegiance.
At this time, I'd like to invite up Terry Lineback, a board member of the Rosemont Community Foundation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lineback. Let's move on to item 2, standing action items.
Item 2, standing action item AB 2449 requests. This is the portion of the meeting where we deal with any requests to join remotely through AB 2449. And seeing that we have none, we'll list it as no action taken.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's move on to item 3, roll call.
Director Irwin?
Here.
Director Mattis?
Here.
Secretary Langen?
Here.
Vice Chair Sloan?
Here.
Chair Danzel?
Here. Thank you. Let's move on to item B, comments by the public on non-agenda items.
Members of the public may address the board on topics within the district's jurisdiction that are not listed on this agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. It is a violation of state law for the board to discuss or take action on non-agenda items. Board members may only briefly ask clarifying questions or refer the matter to staff. And at this time, I have one request for public comment.
Thank you.
So
Go ahead.
I'd like to invite up Terry Lineback.
So this comment is based on my position as a citizen of the Rosemont community, and I would like to thank the board and the staff and general manager very much for responding to my comment about the lack of accessibility to the picnic area in Lincoln Village Park. And I got an excited phone call from my daughter last weekend who said, "You did it! There's a path to the picnic area." So I just wanted to thank you all very much for that.
Thank you, Terry. Very nice.
Thank you. Let's move on to item C, presentations.
Item C1, presentation by CSDA of SDLF certificates of special district governance to Secretary Daniel Langen and Director Mark Mattis. And I'd like to turn it over to General Manager Patrick Larkin.
Thank you, Golden One. All right. So on behalf of Dane Waddle, who could not be here this evening, he sent me a nice email on his behalf, and so I will just read it out. My name is Dane Waddle. And I am the Senior Field Coordinator for California Special Districts Association. I am the CSDA liaison to the special districts in Sacramento County, and he apologized for not being here this evening to present this award. He wanted to formally congratulate Directors Langen and Mattis on earning the Special Districts Governance Certificate through the Special Districts Leadership Foundation. Earning this certificate demonstrates your commitment to your district, your constituents, and your fellow special districts throughout the state. It also highlights your dedication to providing the best possible service to the community you serve. On behalf of the CSDA, SDLF, congratulations on your accomplishments and thank you for your service. And with that, I have 2 certificates that I would like to present to you, and if we could have you in front of the board dais, we will present you with these 2 certificates and we'll have a photo with that.
We need to go this way, so we're not in their photo. Don't want to be in their photo. I don't know how they do that.
First, so we'll open these up.
Wait,
It's a brand new
Michael, you
picture.
stay where you are, you're fine.
Make
No.
sure that they're- So we'll set ourselves like in front of the big district
Fake?
logo.
It's a fake look. closer like you like each other.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you.
Congratulations to both of you.
So with that, now every one of our board members is certified in governance, which allows us to now, as a district, move on to applying for a transparency certificate through the Special Districts, California Special Districts Association. So thank you for your efforts in getting those trainings completed and getting certified. And so we're excited to move on to that next level of getting credentials in CSDA. So thank you and congratulations. So.
Thank you. Let's move on to item C2.
Item C2, presentation of CARPD award to the Rosemont Community Foundation. And I'd like to welcome up Director of Parks and Recreation, Jill Nunz.
Thank you. We're hoping that Kathy G was going to be here from the Rosemont Community Foundation, but we don't see her yet. So hopefully she'll walk in as I'm kind of doing my thing here. So it is my absolute pleasure to present the 2024 CARPD, California Association of Recreation and Park Districts Award of Distinction for Outstanding Community Partner to the Rosemont Community Foundation. The Cordova Recreation and Park District submitted the nomination for the Rosemont Community Pools Project to recognize the foundation and to celebrate their commitment to bring the community together and to value one another in unity. So I'd like to just read the nomination that was submitted to CARPD for the Rosemont Community Foundation. So the community of Rosemont, located within Cordova Recreation and Park District's service area, has long been a shining example of a neighborhood that takes great pride in fostering a strong sense of togetherness and celebrating the people and organizations that make it special. This sense of unity is visible in the latest public art and beautification installation, the Rosemont Community Pools Project. This project was brought to CRPD by Kathy G., community advocate and board director of the Rosemont Community Foundation, RCF. As a representative of the RCF, Kathy worked closely with SMUD to secure a grant necessary to make the project a reality. Located in the newly refurbished Butterfly Garden within CRPD's Rosemont Community Park, Phase 1 of the art installation is comprised of 4 tall poles, each decorated by a local community organization. Phase 2 of the project is anticipated to include an additional set of poles within the Butterfly Garden and will be completed at a later date. And we are talking about what Phase 2 may look like as we speak. You can now see community poles from CRPD, Girl Scout Troop 1369, Golden Pond Senior Living, and Atonement Lutheran Church in Rosemont Community Park. Each pole is distinctive, painted with symbols, pictures, and words that reflect the values of the Rosemont community and its residents. So on behalf of the CARPD, they are proud to recognize Rosemont Community Foundation as a 2024 CARPD Outstanding Community Partner. So you can clap. So it's our honor to present this award to Kathy and to all of the Rosemont Community Foundation. There were a lot of members, a lot of community members that helped out with this project. We also have a lot of staff members that also assisted and helped out with this project. The first one I'd like to introduce is Andrew Saltmarsh. He is our planning technician. He worked really hard with Rosemont Community Foundation and Kathy to bring this project to life, so thank you, Andrew. And then Laura Taylor, who's the Park Planning and Development Manager. She worked alongside both Kathy and Andrew and everybody to make it happen. And then Mark Haig, who is one of our Park Services supervisors too, and his team. They're the team that really went out there and beautified the Butterfly Garden that was kind of, needed some love. So thanks to, Kathy and the foundation, we were able to give some more love to at least Phase 1. We did just do another little planting out there, because some of the plants, as you know, sometimes will live and sometimes won't. And then Mark and his crew did that. And then unfortunately, as many of you know, a day, 2 days before we were going to do the celebration for the poles project, they got vandalized. And Gary Atchison, who's our facility manager, and his team went out there and cleaned them up the best that they possibly could. And Kathy wanted to continue on with the opening, and we still had the opening day to celebrate the community and the Poles project. And to date, they still haven't been vandalized again. So we really appreciate the staff and all the foundation members that came out that day to just celebrate the unity of our community. So I'm really excited to be able to present this award to the foundation. So Terry Leinbach is going to come up and accept the award, and then we'd like to take a photo with all of the board members. So Terry, do you want to say any words? I know they're kind of putting you on the spot here.
I think all I can really say is I'm really sorry that Kathy isn't here right now, because, you know, she's the one that did the work that caused this award to be given to the Rosemont Community Foundation. So, but I appreciate that the Park District submitted her work for nomination, and we thank you very, very much.
We have one other comment. Are you from the Girl Scouts? Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Mary Britton, and it's actually Girl Scout Troop 1363.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's
Yes,
okay.
it's
I just wanted to say thank you to all of the Park District employees for their assistance in the project. It was a great learning experience for the girls. We had 6 girls working on the project, spent about 30 hours designing. They learned how to sand, how to paint, do everything, and then come together to figure out what they wanted on the pole. Unfortunately, it was a very great learning experience for us due to the vandalism. The girls were highly upset and wanted to figure out, you know, who did it and why they did it. But we all got together and discussed why these things happen. And then we went out there and with some of the park employees and did the best we could in cleaning it. They're not happy how it happened, but they were glad that it stood for a couple days, and we have pictures to show. And we just hope that the project continues year after year and many other communities get involved. Community members and associations get involved in it. So thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll dress up on this side. I'll dress up on this side.
Here on this side.
You make sure that's a little bit. Oh, should I go in front? If I must.
Okay, ready?
Is that podium or
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Congratulations. Yes, I think so. You're like taking your time. That was nice. Be the pivot.
Okay. Thank you, folks, for the great presentations. Let's move on to item D, consent calendar.
Consent calendar items are considered administratively routine and will be acted upon in one motion unless separate action on a specific item is necessary. The chairperson will consider any requests for discussion on the items prior to approval of the consent calendar. And this evening, we have 6 items for your consideration.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from the audience who'd like to pull any items? Hearing none. Any from staff? Any from the board?
No.
Hearing none, do I hear a motion on the consent calendar?
Chair Danzel, I'll make the motion that we approve consent calendars item D1 through D6.
I have a motion by Director Yearwood. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Director Mattis. Roll call vote.
Director Yearwood,
Aye.
Director Mattis,
Aye.
Secretary Langen,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sloan,
Aye.
Chair Danzel.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Item E is committee reports. At this time, we have none. Let's move on to item F, public hearing.
Item F1, adopt Resolution 2324-34, amending the district fee schedule for the Cordova Recreation and Park District. And I would like to welcome up Recreation Superintendent Chase Michelotti.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Danzel and members of the board. Staff recommends the Board of Directors conduct a public hearing and adopt Resolution 23/24-34 and approve the amended district fee schedule for the Cordova Recreation and Park District. Included in the board packet is the 2024 amended district fee schedule, which includes a table detailing current fees, which are highlighted in green, and fees that were approved in the amended district fee schedule on June 15th, 2022. Second are adjusted fees, which indicates a fee increase for the selected programs and are highlighted in yellow. These increases will cover the cost of inflation, or the cost of doing business, market conditions, and help the district recover a portion of our staffing costs. Also highlighted in yellow is the adjusted language, which has been adjusted to specify additional required documentation and/or consultant costs included in a total projects cost. Highlighted in red are fees that are removed from the fee schedule. And finally, highlighted in blue is one new fee, which is based on the evaluation of benchmark data from local businesses, parks and recreation agencies, and departmental expense information. The proposed amended fee schedule was reviewed with the Budget and Finance Standing Committee on April 29th, 2024. The complete amended district fee schedule is included in resolution number 23/24-34. The public hearing notice for the amended district fee schedule was published in the Grapevine Independent on June 7th and June 14th, 2024, as required by law. The public hearing notice and notifications were posted at all CRPD facilities. All new adjusted fees will take effect starting September 1st, 2024. Staff will update the district website, facility signage, marketing collateral, and the ActiveNet registration website to reflect the approved fees. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there any member of the public would like to speak on this item? Thank you. Hearing none, this public hearing is now closed. Discussion, Director Yearwood.
I have no questions or comments.
Director Mattis?
Yeah, my only question is there a fee increase for like soccer, baseball? Is that the special use fee, or is that?
No, so the special use fee is typically for rentals. So
Okay.
that would be someone interested in putting on a special event at a facility or a
Okay.
park.
But there's no increase for soccer or softball or baseball?
Not at this time.
Thank you.
Nope. Secretary Lang, nothing? Vice Chair Sloan?
Well, seeing no people here complaining or picketing or waving signs of unfair, I guess you've done your homework, and community will find out, or things are just gonna happen. Thank you very much.
And I have no questions for you. Mr. Michelotti, do I hear a motion on this item?
I'll make that motion. I move that the board adopt resolution 23/24-34, amending the district fee schedule for the Cordova Recreation and Park District.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Sloan. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Secretary Langdon. Roll call vote.
Director Yearwood,
Aye.
Director Mattis,
Aye.
Secretary Langen,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sloan,
Aye.
Chair Danzel.
Aye. Motion passes. Let's move
Thank
on
you.
to this public hearing item for F2 is now open.
F2, adopt resolution 23/24-35, approving the preliminary budget for the Cordova Recreation and Park District for fiscal year 2024/25, and authorize the general manager to file with the county auditor controller. And I'd like to welcome up CFO Matt Goodell.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair Danzel and board members. So earlier tonight, we had a preliminary budget workshop, which highlighted the fund spending operations plan and capital improvements budgets, balanced with revenues and resources. And so there are 9 funds that total the district budget of $25,037,100. We have a general fund, an enterprise fund, and we have 7 tax assessment special funds. The operations total $19,675,500. The capital improvements projects and equipment total $3,361,600. And then we have $2 million budget for new development plus the credits. The budget highlights 5 additional full-time positions, 3,953 additional part-time hours, a 2% COLA, no additional debt except for the inflation contingency I added, 7 new parks to be completed or started, 36 capital improvement and maintenance projects that benefit 20 parks and 4 facilities, additions to equipment and vehicles for park services in the Cordova Golf Course, subsidy from the general fund to the villages of Zinfandel Park and Trail area. But even with that, the general fund sustainability in operating without dry period borrowing and an increase in reserves. So good there. Included in the packet are the resolution, the county financing requirement summary schedules, the CRPD district-wide budget performance and proposal financial report, and the capital improvement plan schedule, which is a county requirement to list them. And so that is my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Goodell. At this time, are there any members of the public who would like to speak on this item? Hearing none. This public hearing is now closed for item number F2, board discussion. Mr. Yearwood.
I don't really have any questions. Again, another nice job. Always good to see we're tracking in the right direction and we have reserves. So that was just a dream years ago. So it's great to see it. So thank you.
Director Mattis.
No, thank you.
Secretary Lang.
Nope, but thank you for the presentation.
Yeah, thank you.
Vice Chair Sloan.
Nothing from me.
And Mr. Goodell, thank you very much for all your hard work in the presentation earlier today.
Yeah,
Once again, we're the right man was hired for the job, and we're moving on the right direction. So thank you very much for that. This time, do I hear a motion?
I'll move the board of directors adopt resolution 23/24-35 approving the preliminary budget for the Cordova Recreation and Park District for fiscal year 2024/25 and authorize the general manager to file with the county auditor controller.
Thank you. I have a motion by Director Yearwood. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second by Secretary Langley. Roll call vote.
Director Yearwood,
Aye.
Director Mattis,
Aye.
Secretary Langen,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sloan,
Aye.
Chair Danzel.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes, folks. And at this
you.
time, I apologize. I'm gonna change up the agenda here. We're actually gonna go back to item C2. So Ms. Nunes can redo her presentation.
Start from the
We
beginning.
didn't like it the first time. It was
We're gonna start
practice.
the whole meeting over.
The whole thing over again.
We weren't recording?
So Kathy is here, so it really is my honor to bring Kathy G up here, who is the person who led this project for the Rosemont Community Foundation and for the park and for the community to bring unity together. So Kathy, if you'd come up here, we would be honored to present you with this award, and you can say a few words.
I really wouldn't have missed this for anything, but I was sitting in the parking lot at your old offices wondering where everybody was. But I do have some thank yous that I want to make. First of all, to the CRPD board for nominating the Rosemont Community Foundation for this award. It was quite unexpected and very exciting for us because we've been actually focused for the last couple of years on solidifying and strengthening our relationship with CRPD as a community partner. So this kind of showed us that we're on the right track. And with our new board member, Terry Leinbach, who I'm sure you have known for a long time, it can only get stronger. I'd like to thank the 2023 RCF Board, Dee Gavaldon and Gary Borse and Joe Hart, for embracing this Rosemont Community Polls idea that some people thought was kind of wacky, but they gave me the go-ahead for it, and I am so grateful to them. I'd also like to thank the board and the staff of CRPD for all your support. There was such a crowd of you attending the dedication that it just, it really touched my heart. Rick Sloan for his ever-present camera in documenting both the installation and the dedication, and Danny Langen for being out there to install poles and rake bark along with all the other organizations and the Girl Scouts. Jill and Laura Taylor and Andrew Saltmarsh for believing in this project from the beginning. At first I thought I really did think they just wanted the money for the plants. But as time went on, I saw that they really, really got what was behind the Poles project, and I sure appreciate it. Mark Haig, who did all the refurbishing and regardening of the butterfly garden, and actually dug the post holes and coordinated the installation of the poles. And then the Park Services crew who came out and addressed the crime that happened to the poles and really made it possible for us to have a nice dedication. They came out the next day, and I can't say how grateful we are to them. Patrick, for your leadership in this whole thing, it's been wonderful getting to know you, actually. I'd like to thank SMUD for funding the project through their SMUD Shine Awards. And also, last but not least, all the project teams. CRPD, Andrew Saltmarsh was your team leader. Atonement Lutheran Church, who was led by Michael Borg. Girl Scout Troop 1369, led by Mary Britton, and we have them in the audience here. And Golden Pond Senior Living with their leader, Tracy McLean. So right now, we're reevaluating our next fiscal year budget for Poles Phase 2. We have committed to supply plants to CRPD for refurbishing the south wing of the butterfly garden. And from there, we'll see what we have left to continue with the actual poles. But we did have a new sign made because Phase 2's sign was defaced and discarded by the vandals. And so we want to make sure this is installed in its place, and that we're serious about continuing with it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
We're going to do a photo with, there's always time for a photo, right?
No, I was done at 3.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry you took the tie off.
That's all right.
Of course. No one ever. I'm sorry I took that time.
Okay, we're gonna need more people on this side. I'm not too tall.
We'll hold you out.
Everybody in?
Act like you like each other.
Yeah. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Congratulations. Fantastic.
Because of the CRPD.
It was here.
CRPD. This is a award from CRPD. Respect to myself.
Yeah.
Because they formed
For CRPD.
the organization. We presented it to CRPD, and I'm the current president, and Rick is board member, so.
So I'm gonna have you shift a
Okay.
little bit so you're more centered. A little bit more. There we go. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
Congratulations.
I know I do. I almost listened. Is this my first? Good. Oh, granted.
No, thank you. Let's move on to item G, regular calendar.
Item G1, adopt resolution 23/24-36, approving the park development agreement with Lennar Homes of California LLC for the Preserve Development Project and authorize the chairperson of the board of directors to sign the same. And I'd like to welcome up Park Planning and Development Manager Laura Taylor.
Good evening, Chair Danzel and members of the board. I am going to pull up a diagram that might help this go through a little quicker. Hope you guys understand it a little better. Okay. Okay, so Lennar Homes representative Pierre Martinez is in the audience tonight, and he's here to support this request for the board to approve a park development agreement with Lennar for the Preserve project. So the project is located just north of the Somerset Ranch subdivision, which is the same subdivision that has the Hillside Park in it. And so in your packet on page number 130 is the vicinity map that I've pulled up here for you. And so you can see where this project is, basically in the center of the east side of our district. A little bit about the project itself. It's 99 acres, and it will provide 439 single-family residential units and 2 neighborhood parks. The developer is dedicating 4.5 acre park, parcel F, and a 4.15 acre park, parcel D, for a total of 8.65 acres. The Quimby Parkland dedication requirement for this park is 6.48 acres. They're dedicating a slight bit more because there is a slope on one of them that exceeds 3-to-1 slope and doesn't really qualify for programmable Quimby Parkland, but it is part of the parcel. And so on page 144 of your packet, there's a diagram of what the parks are that we're going to be dedicating. And so I'll just talk a little bit about what those, park sites. So both parks will overlook Morrison Creek and a habitat conservation protection area to the north of the whole project site. The public is going to benefit from having access to a public park that's going to provide the view opportunities of that diverse habitat area. The park sites are going to sit on a shelf approximately 3 feet above the 100-year floodplain, and then at the flat area out towards Morrison Creek. Park F is, Park D is the park that is fairly level with the street, and then Park F actually sits about 12 feet below the street, and it has a slope that's between the street and the level area of the park. And we have worked closely with the developer and the city to make sure that there's going to be adequate on-street parking along the front of that park frontage, and that there will be an accessible ramp down into the park that would be limited to the use for maintenance vehicles, emergency vehicles, and pedestrian access. And then the other interesting thing about this project is there is a city regional trail that traverses the entire length of the Preserve project, and so we will be granting to the city an easement for their trail that will go through the north end of each of those parks. The city's development agreement with Lennar requires the developer to enter into a park development agreement with CRPD. And in that park development agreement. It identifies the details about payment of the park development impact fees and identifies credits and/or reimbursements if the developer chooses to construct the park improvements. Now, however, in this case, Lennar has chosen not to pursue the option to construct the park and recreation facilities, and instead they're going to pay the full impact fee amount, and CRPD will manage the design and construction of those neighborhood parks. Any future owner of these parcels will be required to comply with the terms of the city development agreement. And since that DA was approved, Lennar has entered into a land banking transaction where there's actually another entity that owns the property. However, if CRPD approves this park development agreement tonight, our agreement will be with Lennar, and the land bank will not be a party to the agreement, but they will sign an acknowledgement and consent to the recordation of the park development agreement. I bring this up only because this is the first time that we've had a park development agreement with this land bank portion, and we're probably going to see more in the future because it's one way that developers are leveraging their funds and things for their developments. However, our attorney, Bob Thurbin, was involved in the review and the negotiation of how that term would be addressed in our park development, and he has approved it. Another thing that the park development agreement does is it specifies the timing for the developer to complete the park sites, and then our formal acceptance of those park sites, where we will then move forward with the construction of the park. And those timing triggers are based on the number of lots sold, not calendar days, because it's all driven by development, the rate of development. The developer is targeting the City Council's consideration for approval of the first phase of their preserve project, which is the southern portion of the project, for this June. And so after the board's approval of this PDA, as well as an annexation into CRPD CFD, which is the next item on the agenda, and those documents have been recorded with the Sacramento County, then the developer will be able to record the small lot final map, and they'll be able to begin selling residential lots. With CRPD's approval of these two documents, the developer will have met the most important of CRPD's conditions of approval that are required for this whole project. So we're excited to be able to present this opportunity to the board tonight for your consideration. The developer will be required to pay the current 2024 park development impact fee of $12,347.72 per single family residence, and that amount will be adjusted annually for inflation. To pay the future maintenance cost of the parks, the Board of Directors will consider the developer's request to annex into the District CFD 2018-01 as the next item on this agenda. So approval of the recommended action will allow the developer to move forward on development of this residential project. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great, thank you, Ms. Jalke. Ms. Goldman, do we have any public?
There are no requests at this time.
Thank you. Director Yearwood.
The only question I have is, so the one that has the slope, will we be able to do something similar to what Hillside is, or is it not as great as Hillside?
Well, it will be landscaped, and it will look nice. It's not a slope as large as the Hillside project. It's more along the lines of Cypress Grove, that 1 acre park. That's about a 12-foot difference between the two levels of that park. So it'll be landscaped, probably, we we'll have to venture into the design. I don't know if we'll put amenities like a slide on the slope. I
just
don't know
wondering
what
if
we'll
we're
do
gonna have
yet.
hillside too or something, but no, okay.
Yeah.
That's all, that's all
Okay.
I have.
Thank you. Director Mattis?
My only question so are they the same size as Hillside Park, or is it close to, or,
Okay, so 4 acres, to give you an idea of what a 4-acre park is. Well, Gold Rush Park that we just were at this past weekend for that
Yeah.
opening, that's a 5-acre park.
okay.
So does that help you?
Yeah,
Okay.
just, like, the only, yeah, I know, it's just, the only thing that really, it's hard here is because I know I've gone to Hillside Park a few times, and it just, I used to live out there, and it just the egress and degress out of that community itself is just a nightmare, and I couldn't imagine living in there. And then now there's gonna be more houses stacked in there, and it just, is the developer or the city or the county gonna help with the egress out there on the Rainier Way to Grant Line?
Actually, I could have Pierre answer that question. I don't know the
Yeah.
answer to that off the top of my head. So I know that there has been some discussions of that in the development process, but I'm not sure how it ended up, so.
Certainly. So, the major kind of off-site component would be the intersection of Raymer and Grant Line with a new traffic signal.
Yeah,
So that is an obligation on Lennar. That
Okay.
We actually have improvement plans approved for that, so it should be connected with the project.
okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, that's it. No, that's just, yeah, that's my only concern is just, adding, another 330 houses and then 2 parks out there. There's more people going out there. That's just, it's not easy to get in and out of. That's the only, but eventually, once the Del Rio gets built, obviously, that's gonna help, but, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Pierre.
Secretary Langen?
My only question has to do with the creek going by there. I know they're, and just how far is that from the park as far as for safety wise?
That's a very good question. Okay, so, let's see, how do I, there's some small parcels that are located between the edge of the park and the actual habitat protection area. And then Morrison Creek, I can't tell you the distance, but if I was gonna guess, I would say the distance is probably a couple hundred feet from the edge of the park.
Okay.
Maybe 100 at the closest, but probably on the average about 200 or more.
Isn't there typically a property line and barrier between the 2 properties, though? So there's not just a walk-through natural,
Right, there will be a, the posted cable type
Yeah.
of barrier
Okay.
at the top of the slopes here. But, and I'm not sure if there's gonna be a chain, not a chain link, but a barbed wire fence or not. I know that in some cases, the HCP requires a barbed wire fence. So-
Well, Morrison Creek's pretty meandering, right? It's not a big waterway, probably with the exception of when it rains and stuff like that, right?
Right,
When
I would.
Morrison Creek hits Sunrise Boulevard, I mean, the cows really enjoy hanging out in there, but, it's not a
Right, I wouldn't be
waterway you can
surprised if it
recreate on.
completely dries up at the
Okay.
latest parts of the summer. I'm not positive about that, but
It
it's
gets close, yeah.
not a huge waterway for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Vice Chair Sloan?
So, you want some water?
I have some over there, I'll be okay.
How close are these in proximity to the nearest community park?
Hillside's
You guys do need some water.
Is Hillside a community park?
It's a neighborhood.
Right.
It's the closest in proximity, not
So
neighborhood.
there's still no bathroom out in that area. It's all neighborhood parks. So in the areas that are the white areas that are in between the building and the path that the city is having, that's open land, kind of preserved land?
Yeah,
Which
to
is
the
kind of-
north is all open.
That's why we came up with the name and probably, so,
Well, I can't answer that, but,
well, it sounds good. Did we come up with this name, the board, or does this, just the developer come up with this?
Now, to answer your other question about the nearest community park, it's probably better to look at this diagram. And so I think the nearest community park is the Grant Line Arista del Sol Community Park to the south here.
Okay.
Do you see where my little cursor
Yeah,
is
I
moving
see.
up and down there?
Yeah. I guess there's some formula that we use to how far apart you put community parks. But I just want to make sure as we develop further out, we're providing at least some type of a park close enough where people can have restrooms there. It's always a nice thing to have, or maybe a spray feature.
Right. Well, the optimized plan does suggest a 1.5, spacing park, community parks 1.5 miles apart, if, no further than that if possible. However, this project was conceived and developed and designed prior to the optimized plan being completed, but.
Well, because I like what we did in Heron Landing, where we have that observation where the Boy Scout created that.
Right.
So this might be something that we could do there, and make it like an observation. There might be something migrating in that preserve area.
When we first started working with the owner's representative on the layout for this project, they said that area of the Morrison Creek and the Habitat Preserve was one of the more diverse areas of the habitat protection area that we have in this area. And so it really is a valuable asset that people are going to be able to use, just like Heron Landing Park, to be able to go look at birds and
Catch lizards and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I mean, and talking about slopes, my favorite park growing up was down in Southern California. It had a big slope that you could take a cardboard box and slide down on, and kids love that. And if you can create on grass, or even dried grass, as long as it has that, I think, a 45-degree angle or something, it needs to get the speed up. But they're also good for group photographs, a hillside. So I think that as long as we make it accessible, I'm excited to see what these parks look like. And we're designing them in-house. Did I hear
yes,
that?
we will be designing it in-house.
Oh, that's
Well,
exciting.
all right, let me correct that. We will be managing the design,
You'll
but
be
we
a
will hire a
consultant.
consultant actually to design it because
okay.
of our available staffing resources. That's what we need to do.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds
But we'll
good.
have the ability to influence it,
Thank you, Ms. Taylor, for your presentation. At this time, do I hear a motion?
I'll move the Board of Directors adopt Resolution 23/24-36, approving the park development agreement with Lennar Homes of California LLC for the Preserves Project, and authorize the chairperson of the Board of Directors to sign the same.
I have a motion by Director Gerber. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Director Mattis. Roll call vote.
Director Yearwood,
Aye.
Director Mattis,
Aye.
Secretary Langen,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sloan,
Aye.
Chair Danzel.
Aye. Thank you, folks. Motion passes. Let's move on to item G2.
Thank you.
Item G2 is for special proceedings for Community Facilities District Number 2018-01, Park Facilities and Services, Annexation Number 11, The Preserve. Adopt Resolution 23/24-37, accepting the annexation of property located in a future annexation area to the Cordova Recreation and Park District, Community Facilities District Number 2018-01, Park Facilities and Services, Tax Zone Number 1, Annexation 11, The Preserve. And I'd like to welcome back CFO Matt Goodell.
It's a mouthful. I see why we do the PDA item first, so Laura can tell you how and what the parks are going to be and what area and stuff. So I'm not going to go over the information about the project itself. I'm going to talk to you about how we're going to pay for it, how we're going to sustain this park. And so we're going to annex this Preserve project into CFD 2018-01, and which is our district-wide new formation that we did in 2018. And the fact that we did the boundary the way we did is it only takes one meeting moving forward to annex in future areas. And so we only need this one meeting. The owner has completed the unanimous approval form for this annexation, allowing the annual levy of the special tax. And technically, the statute doesn't require formal approval, but we choose to bring this to the board so it's recorded It's best practice, and the resolution is part of public record. We've done 10 previous annexations. That makes this number 11, named the Preserve Project. Like Laura said, there's 439 single-family units, and that'll generate in today's dollars at full build-out $213,000 annually to maintain these parks. Tax will pay for those park services as long as those services are needed. All the backup documents are part of this item in the package. That's the resolution, the unanimous approval form, the amended boundary map, and the notice of the special tax lien. And so if there's any questions, I'm here to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Thank you.
Ms. Golden, anybody from the public?
There are no requests at this time.
Thank you. Director Yearwood.
I have no questions.
Director Mattis.
No questions.
Secretary Lang.
No question.
Vice Chair Sloan.
No question.
Mr. Goodell, you're off the hook.
Sorry, Laura.
At this time, do I hear a motion?
I move that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution 2324-37, accepting the annexation and property located in the future annexation area, Cordova Recreation and Park District, Community Facilities District number 2018-01, Park Facilities and Services, Tax Zone number 1, Annexation number 11, The Preserve.
Thank you. I have a motion by Director Mattis. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's a tie.
I'm going to go with Vice Chair Sloan on this one. I have a second by Vice Chair Sloan. Roll call vote, please.
Director Yearwood,
Aye.
Director Mattis,
Aye.
Secretary Langen,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sloan,
Aye.
Chair Danzel.
Aye. Thank you, folks. Motion
Thank you.
passes. Lennar can start working on building homes.
Let's turn some dirt.
I heard June in there somewhere. It's still time. You still got time to get that first house
you got a
done by the
couple
end of the
days.
month. Not a problem. Thank you, folks. Let's move on to Board of Directors items. Let's move on to item H1.
Item H1A is adopt resolution 23/24-38, calling for the November 5th, 2024 general CRPD election, consolidation with the statewide election, candidate statement length and costs, notice of election, and publication of notice of election. And I'll turn it over to General Manager Patrick Larkin.
Thanks, Golden One. All right, so I am here to talk about the adoption of Resolution 23/24-38, calling for the November 5th, 2024 General District Election, consolidation with the statewide election, candidate statement length and cost, notice of election, and publication of notice of election. Some background: the district was formed and operates pursuant to Public Resource Code 5780, which specifies district election requirements. The district is required to conduct an election for the purpose of electing 2 members of the Board of Directors, the governing body. The 2 seats up for election are Election District 3 and Election District 4. Consolidation with statewide election, Elections Code number 10403 requires jurisdictions to file with the Board of Supervisors and a copy with the Register of Voters and a resolution requesting consolidation with the statewide elections. Consolidation with the statewide election is strongly recommended. In candidate statements number of words limitations pursuant to the Election Code 13307A, the board must determine whether to limit candidate statements of qualifications to 200 words or authorize an extension to 400 words. The County of Sacramento recommends 200 words. The candidate statement costs pursuant to Election Code 13307, the district shall determine whether the individual candidates or district will pay the publication of the voluntary candidate statement and the county voter information guide. The board may choose from the following. 1, candidates pay at the Sacramento County Voter Registration and Elections Office, or 2, the district pays at the Sacramento County Voter Registration and Elections Office. It is recommended that the candidates pay at the Sacramento County Voter Registration and Elections Office. Notice of election and publication of election notice. In addition to the resolution, Election Code 12112 requires that the publication of a notice of election, the Register of Voters will publish a combined election notice for all districts scheduled for the election on November 5th, 2024. The fiscal impact is the County Board of Supervisors has adopted an ordinance establishing a schedule of fees and charges for the administration of the election by the Sacramento County Voter Registration and Elections Department. An invoice will be submitted to the district after November 5th, 2024. Election certification for actual costs are accrued. The costs for the election will be included in the upcoming fiscal year 2024-2025 preliminary budget. The requested motion for this evening is listed in the staff report. The resolution is attached to the staff report along with the County of Sacramento's letter that we received with directions. Some things to note related to this upcoming election. This needs to be filed with the voter registration office on July 3rd. So a decision needs to be made this evening. And then also nominations for those interested in being nominated for or putting in a nomination for this coming election. Elections will start opening up on July 15th, 2024 and run through August 9th, 2024. A candidate's guide for the election will be prepared and will be available to all candidates at the time they obtain their nomination paperwork. And with that, I will turn it over to Chair Danzel.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Golden, do we have any public comment?
There are no requests.
Thank you. Director Yearwood?
No comments or questions.
Director Mattis?
No.
Director Langdon?
Nope.
Or, sorry, Secretary Langdon? Vice Chair Sloan?
No.
And I have none, so at this time, do I hear a motion?
I move the Board of Directors adopt Resolution 23-24/38, calling for the November 5th, 2024 general election, district election consolidation with the statewide election, candidate statement length and cost, notice of election, and publication of notice of election.
I have a motion by Secretary Langdon. Do I hear a second? Second by Vice Chair Sloan. Roll call vote.
Director Yearwood?
Aye.
Director Mattis?
Aye.
Secretary Langen?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sloan?
Aye.
Chair Danzel?
Aye. Thank you, folks. Motion passes. Let's move on to item H2, board member reports.
Item H2A is the board training report, and Chair Danzel and Director Sloan attended the CRPD conference.
Vice Chair Sloan, you want to talk just quickly about the conference, and then you can get further into it in your regular report? Because
I'll go back into it?
we're going to go as training report first, you and I, and then we'll go into length
Oh, really?
in our individual,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Talk about your training part.
So CPR or,
Well, what my training part was a lot of different, I went into a lot of breakout sessions because I photograph a lot of them, so I get to sit in and listen, and then I can walk around and go to the next one. And so I was able to experience a lot of the CPR training, which I thought was the first time we've ever had that. And it was kind of exciting to watch that go on. So I'm gonna go into this more detail.
Later.
Later, so basically, let me hear what you have to say.
okay. Well, yes, we learned how to do CPR. Conference this year was definitely a little different. CPR training was definitely a big part of that. Public safety was a huge part of conference this year. Everywhere from law enforcement teams on public rescuing and individual on things that we truly don't want to talk about and we try not to talk about. But for me, conference is always it's always a learning experience, sitting down with other board members throughout the state and general managers, being able to talk to them about how to make things work smoothly is the biggest thing to me. So that is the end of that report. So we will go into our community activities report, and I will start at the far end with Director Yearwood.
Thank you, Chair Danzel. Let's see here. On May 16th, I attended the Rosemont Community Park Sports Courts ribbon cutting / grand opening. It was a really nice night. Thank goodness the weather was cooperative. It's beautiful out there for anybody who hasn't been out there yet. You should definitely go check it out. And people were very excited about that. It was interesting when we were standing there, this couple walked up and they go, "Oh, are the pickleball courts open?" And we're like, "Absolutely." And they ran in there and started playing, and when I left, they were still playing. So a really nice event. And then this last Saturday, the 15th, I headed over to Gold Rush Park for the ribbon cutting and family fun day. It's a really nice park over there. Elliot really knows, you know, he have good eye, good vision and all that for parks and things like that. The residents over there were very complimentary of it. They, one couple was specifically complimented us on, they called about the little dog poop bag holder. Apparently there weren't any out there, so whoever got there lickety quick and put those out there, they very thankful for that. I went out there the first day that the fences came down, and they were already having a little get together out there with cake, and they were just so happy to have that park. So another great event, and I like what was the what was the rating that Josh Hoover's kid?
9.67 or something?
9.65. But we think it was because the snow cone wasn't flavorful enough. It wasn't the park itself. It was the snow cone. But yeah, it was people coming out from other communities. I ran into some people who live in my neighborhood, had come to check it out. So it was a really nice event. So that is all I have.
Thank you. Director Mattis?
Just Gold Rush Park ribbon cutting. Yeah, that was, I drove by there 2 months ago and it was done. All the fences were up, so we couldn't go on it. But so it was nice to go out there on Saturday and see it and actually touch everything. And my oldest was with me because we were on our way to flag football at Heron Park. So we were able to swing by there and get that done. And for my almost 12-year-old son, he was having fun with the tractor setup where it's stationed there, where they can kids the scoopers there. So he was having a lot of fun there. So now I can't wait to bring the rest of the kids out there and play around with them. And I'm sure they're going to try to move the carts too. So.
Perfect. Secretary Lane?
Yeah, so on May 16th, the Rosemont Community Park Sports Court ribbon cutting and grand opening. It was awesome out there. I'm still out there for baseball at that park, and so I never see those courts empty, whether it's basketball or the tennis or the pickleball. And then I just want to give a special thank you to Vice Chair Sloan for teaching me a little bit of pickleball. So thank you for that. And then on the Rosemont Little League, they hosted the TOCs for the district. And so I just thought it was great to be from the 1st of June through the 8th. Just a great way to get publicity for people to see the parks, and so on and so forth. And then the Rosemont Community Association meeting, June 6th. I know it's been talked about a little bit, but the cool thing that I was going to say was that they've already started talking about phase 2 with the Butterfly Garden, and they're looking forward to doing all that. And then the last is the Gold Rush Park grand opening and Family Fun Day on June 15th. Just a great time. I was really impressed with that canopy out there that goes over the playgrounds. Great job out there, great design, and just very, very impressed.
Thank you. Vice Chair Sloan?
Okay, we got a lot of them, so I'm gonna start off with, I guess, May 16th, right?
Yes,
Is that what we're
sir.
starting off with? The sports court's opening. I've been out there already probably 20, 30 times, not 20, about at least 15 times playing. I've been recently going out there by myself and getting into pickup games. That way I get to meet the people that are coming to the park. Most of them right now are Rosemont community members. But occasionally, when I see these guys with, they look like they have really nice paddles. Like some of them have $200, $250 paddles. You know that they've come a little bit further, and to you because they know about these parks, and they're being used. We have 4-on-4 all the time. We're starting with our league play. I guess that's coming up starting already June. On Wednesdays and Thursdays. But there's definitely, I see people playing pickleball on the tennis courts. So I definitely see a need for more pickleball courts. And this type of enclosure was they're playing basketball till 10 o'clock. I mean, it's being used a lot. On May 18th was spring day of training. I showed up at City Hall. There were a lot of people there. The marching band was there. It was fanfare and confetti. It was crazy. And probably 200-300 people, maybe more. And then we dispersed into the neighborhoods, and I went over to the senior center and helped them plant their garden with their vegetables, and their brand new raised garden, which are even easier to work on because they're higher than the other ones. I went over to Cordova Gardens and took photographs of that. So there's a lot of different things going on. Also on that same day, May 18th, I went over. It was the California Mermaid Convention at Hagen Community Park Pool, and I went over there. And I was actually there for May 18th and 19th, and I took a lot of photographs and have shared them with the organization and also with our tourism people. They asked me for some of them. On June 5th, we had Brian and Chair Danzel and I had a CRPD board meeting. Basically, it was a recap of the conference. Committee assignments were given out. It was Brian's first meeting as president. And we discussed the AB 817, which is still seems to be in the picture, but they pulled ACA 1 has been pulled. And Brian can go into those more detail if you want, but
Try not to.
try not to. Okay. June 8th, at Lincoln Village Park, there was something what really excited me because it was called Art in the Park. And so I went out there to see what it was all about. And it was the first time they've done it. It was a company put on by Rico Layer is the company that presented it. And it's got a great idea, and actually at the, I'll talk to you at another meeting, I talked about it with the Lincoln Village people. But it's nice. It was a whole lot. The concept is a lot of, they had people painting and doing different things artistically wise, and there was vendors, and there was food vendors, and music, and live music, singing. It was a nice event, and it was kind of like a pre-Juneteenth thing. On June 15th, I had the Gold Rush Park ribbon cutting. Was fantastic. It's a beautiful park. Assembly member Hoover was raving about it because he brought his kids down from Folsom, and the fact that we have art elements in our parks is a very important thing. It shows creativity. It shows a lot of how the kids can have this a play where they can become whatever. They're Indiana Jones or something. I think that's fantastic. The shade thing is fantastic too because people can play in that without getting sunburned. June 17th, I went, this Monday, there was a Juneteenth event at the Hagen Community Park, big one that was put on by the Folsom Cordova Community Partnership. That was a nice event. I photographed that and put some of the photographs onto the Rancho Cordova Info Facebook page if you want to see some photographs. On June 18th, it was last night, I attended the It Takes a Lincoln Village community meeting, and they were very thankful. They're always thankful for the use of the Lincoln Community Park, Lincoln Village Park. It's part of their everything that they basically have is that's the catalyst right there in the middle. They're having a small neighbors business expo on June 29th there. If anybody's interested, and they're going to have some workshops for business owners. So that might be something you might be interested in. And do I go into the thing now?
And your conference?
Yeah.
That's on your list, yes.
All right, so the conference that we attended was fantastic. It was in Santa Rosa, the Hyatt. They had great breakout sessions, and like Chair Danzel said, it was basically on protection and safety, and one of them was this leadership in midst of adversity, which helicopter Firemen were in helicopters, and it was called Henry One was the name of the helicopter, and the guy's out there saving people, and while he's doing that, his house burns down, which was very interesting. You know, he lost everything, but he had to separate tragedy to triumph when he goes out and rescues people. So we have our roundtable things are always very popular. We had 2 days of roundtable breakout sessions for general managers. The awards banquet, we gave a wonderful award to a very deserving general manager. I forget his name. What's his name? Was Patrick something? Larkin? Was it Larkin? Yeah. Patrick Larkin, and I've never used I've seen acceptance speeches, but this one was a special one, I'll tell you. I'm not going to go into it. And then the next day was a little short for me because I had to leave, but there was, one of the things was how to handle elected officials behaving badly. So that was kind of an interesting one. I think I probably sat in that before, but it always comes up with different topics, you know. And then addressing the homeless, and then we had our legislative luncheon, and then I had to leave and come back to Sacramento for my son's graduation from Cordova High. So that's my report.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to borrow this for when I go through mine real quick. I'm not going to bore everybody, but I also attended the Rosemont Community Sports Court opening. Beautiful courts. I mean, I like the directors that live out that way talked about, you know, I know they're being used and the community's enjoying every second of it. Second thing was May 21st to 25th. We CRPD conference, and great conference. I mean, I have to be biased. I was elected president of the organization, so it was kind of nice. It was also great that our general manager did get General Manager of the Year, which was phenomenal. It took some work hiding that and sneaking that behind him, because he honestly didn't know, which was great. Staff got a chance to actually go in and celebrate him for that. It was great. Breakout sessions were, I co-led with one of the current or the past president. We both led the board member ones. One of the ones we talked about was how to evaluate a general manager, and it was interesting to learn throughout the state. We've got Ms. Golden here, or we've got Ms. Jones as our clerk, and a lot of districts don't have those things. And learning, you know, I talked to one district, they said their general manager walks in and says, okay, here's my review, let's get this done tonight. And they want everything done there, and there's not a real good process. So we were able to do that. Brought the evaluation that we do use for our general manager here to that conference, and I've had over 30 different board members throughout the state have asked for it so they can take it to their general managers. In my meeting with our general manager, he actually had general managers ask him, because I spoke about it, they wanted to know what we were doing here and things like that. So that was great to be part of, and I enjoyed talking with other board members just about, you know, what's going on in their districts and how we can help make things better. June 5th, board meeting, like Vice Chair Sloan said, it was my first one as president of that organization. Committee assignments, you know, just shake things up a little bit, and it was good to do. We did talk about some assembly bills and some Senate bills, and always we talk about, you know, the ones that we're on. It's that time of year, so let's see what happens. I mean, we're getting to the time of the summer, and we'll see what the state does for us on that. Gold Rush Park opening, phenomenal park. I mean, our staff does a wonderful, you know, making sure that our community gets some top-notch parks. I really appreciate our staff for that, and our builder with Elliott Homes. I know that was good work that was done, and they appreciate us, and we appreciate them for that. And then yesterday, I sat down as the president of CRPD and the chair of the conference committee, and trying to decide next year where our conference is going to be. Conference committee did pick a location. I will keep that quiet for the moment, but we're just trying to get next year's conference off the ground, because that's always a big push for us, is where and when is it gonna be. So, our locations that we rounded down to are Monterey, San Diego, and Anaheim. So those are potential points. The committee will turn around and give their report to myself and the rest of the board on next month. And that is the end of my report, folks. So let's move from that to item I, comments by staff on non-agenda items.
Item I1 is the district-wide monthly progress report for June, and I'll turn it over to General Manager Patrick Larkin.
Thank you again, Golden One. All right. Just some updates from the past month. And first, just kudos to the city of Rancho Cordova for their first community service day. They did a fantastic job kicking that off. I too helped out at the senior center in their community garden. They built some fantastic raised garden beds out there to support their Green Thumbs lunch program. Also, I saw Vice Chair Sloan out there helping to plant some new vegetables out there for their Green Thumbs lunch, so that was great. Matt Goodell and I joined forces and went to Ledge Days at the state capitol this year. There were several things that were being discussed related to parks and recreation, one of which was a interpretation of Quimby laws, trying to make them seem like they were utility fees, and so we fought back that. And Laura, thank you so much for the tenacious ways that we made it very clear to them that it's a law and not a utility fee to be negotiated. So we influenced the language that they were using to have them change the language, and it kind of disappeared. So we were very grateful for our ability to articulate those significant changes to possibly not impact something from tragically happening to our industry here. So thank you, Laura. It's been amazing to be able to help them with that. The CARPD conference was, wow, quite the surprise. So I am absolutely honored to receive the Outstanding General Manager Award. And here's the plaque to prove it. So anyhow, thank you to the board of directors and to the staff. You certainly did surprise me, but it was quite the surprise and honor to receive that award, so thank you. Also, congratulations to Chair Danzel for being the president-elect for CARPD, and also for Vice Chair Sloan to getting reelected to the board of directors for CARPD. Also, we did receive an Outstanding Performance Award in Safety from Capri at that conference, as well as congratulations again to the Rosemont Community Foundation for receiving the Outstanding Community Partner Award for the Community Pulse Project. So it was a really great event. It was a really great conference, and boy did we shine. So also, Jill and I had met with the Sacramento County Office of Emergency Services about 2 weeks ago. Little did we know we'd be having a fire in our community on Sunday and this past Monday, only to have them call us out to see if we could possibly use the Mather Sports Center for a possible temporary shelter. So we, at that meeting, met their 2-week-old employee that had just started, and realized that we needed to look at our agreement with them, share with them what our resources are in our district, and then first update that agreement and let them know what our resources were, what they had for resources, and then start there. Then look to see what training opportunities they had for our staff, and then look to collaborate with other stakeholders in this community. We are a very rich community, but we are not one community. We have a city, we have a Sac Metro Fire, we have a park district, we have resources at the chamber, we have resources with the CCC. So with this person being new, their jaw dropped, and I said it's time for us to all sit down at the table, or at least a Zoom meeting, to know who these people are, and so that in case of an emergency, at least you would know, hey, this is Matt Tomeo, he's the police chief. This is the new fire chief over at Sac Metro Fire. So, I've been here a little while now, 7.5 years, so I these people are changing in and out. And so it's really critically important for us to at least be on a first name basis with these folks. So we're moving in that direction. I'm super happy about it. But I was laughing when, we just met with this person 2 weeks ago and we're getting a call last Sunday that this is already activated. So it's really kind of not if, it's when we need to get our act together in this community. So we're excited to be proactive, and hopefully we will sooner than later get this agreement more fundamentally under control and start meeting with our community partners intentionally so that we can be better prepared in case we really do need to activate and provide shelter and help to our community if they need it. So thank you, Jill, for leading the way and for us to get that meeting on the ground and running. So didn't think that new person at Sac County OES was thinking that they would be calling us so soon after that meeting, but hey, we made the connection. I attended the Leadership Rancho Cordova graduation ceremony. Congratulations to Chase Medjolati. He's our newest graduate for the program. They did an amazing project this past year. I want to say they raised, what, $34,000 or $36,000?
Yeah, it's about 36.
$36,000 to support the food locker, which is an amazing amount of money through a golf tournament that they hosted. Amazing. So kudos to that group. It's an amazing program. We're going to be looking to recruit another CRPD member to support the program. So kudos to Chase. Thank you for representing the CRPD so well in that. I agree, the Gold Rush Park, it looks amazing. Laura, your team once again just knocked it out of the ballpark. And I'm proud to say that is the first park in Rio del Oro. So here we go. Rio del Oro is kicking off. And what a way to kick it off with a great new park for those residents out in that area. And I have to say thank you to Michael for sharing that story when those fences came down and you had gone over that night and you had said that you just drove over and you saw them celebrating organically with a cake and just saying, oh, we just love that park. It really gave me the chills, and it made me think that's why we do what we do, right?
Yes.
It wasn't something planned. It was just something that really organically meets why we do what we do. So thank you for sharing that story.
Sure. Real quick, I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
How many people in this room have graduated from Leadership Rancho Cordova? Show of hands. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Eight's still great. That's right. Eight's great.
Okay, here we go.
7.
13 is lucky. All right. So under human resources, we're onboarding, getting close, if not almost completed with onboarding all of our staff for summer. 70 new and returning recreation staff were hired for aquatics, camps, and kiosk cashier. We are in recruitment for our landscape architect. We have 2 interviews coming up, I believe tomorrow, right, is our first round of interviews for the candidates. And just exciting news, Aura Park, I believe, is completed. It's in the maintenance phase. Fences are up. They're excited to take the fences down. We're planning on bringing it to the board for acceptance in August. Once it's accepted in August, the fences come down. This is a very highly anticipated developer who wants to celebrate and ribbon cut in August. So that will be the 4th park that will be celebrating accomplishment in this calendar year. No, 3rd, sorry. With an anticipation of another one coming most likely in the fall. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jill, who will give us the report for Parks and Recreation.
Thank you. I'd also like to give a special thanks out to HR for all of their help with this summer recruitment. It's been a lot. But we've got, some new supervisors and some new staff, and just as a great team, they've been able to pull it together. So thank you to HR, thanks to the recreation staff, the golf staff, the park staff. We have a really good summer staffing in place, and I'm proud of those guys, so I appreciate that. So thank you for that. All right, so yeah, we've talked about the May 18th Spring Service Day. I was proud to be one of the people that coordinated that day, and I felt like it was quite the success. We're going to build on those successes and obviously come back even stronger next year with some more projects. But I do want to thank the city of Rancho Cordova for supporting the Neil Orchard Senior Activities Garden refurbishment. It does look fantastic. Heather emailed today and said that they already picked their first quote-unquote crop for the Green Thumb lunch, which is just fantastic. That's pretty quick. But if you've been out there, if you haven't been out there, get out there. It looks fantastic. It was needed. And again, it just goes back to the community is basically what that project was all about. So we thank everybody that was there that helped out, but a special shout out to Heather Shelsky, who really led this project, got some great volunteers, got some help from the park staff, and then of course people the day of for the planting. So great job to Heather. We also planted some trees that day as well. So we planted some trees at Sandpiper and Cavallo Ranch. We planted 10 trees at each one of those locations. Again, 2 locations that could use some additional trees. So a shout out to Mark Haig for pulling that together. And again, for the Sacramento Tree Foundation, they're just absolutely wonderful when it comes to tree planting. Cordova Golf Course, things are running smooth. Always like that. We're getting a lot of golfers out there. The conditions are good for golfing at this time of year before it gets too hot. In recreation, youth tennis is still strong. So I don't want everyone to forget that tennis is a strong sport, and in addition to pickleball. As a tennis person, I'm always going to say that. But CRPD is collaborating with the Junior Tennis Fund of Sacramento to launch their first Cordova Tennis Academy. And this was at White Rock Community Park, which I'm really proud that our staff was able to pull a program together at White Rock. Sometimes we tend to just kind of go over to the newer courts. And so we've been working hard to kind of spread the recreation programs throughout the district. And so I'm super excited that we were able to get Coach KJ Song and some participants out there at White Rock to play some tennis. So good job to Nina and her staff. Camp Cordova is full. We are just so excited that kids are going to be able to spend their summer at Camp Cordova and just have a good time with all of our camps. So we'll continue to build on that and see if there's opportunities in the future to open up those camps to some more participants. So good job to Matt Zimmerling and his staff. And then aquatics, we're here, everything is open, and we're open with full staff, which is fantastic. And what I mean by that is that we don't have to modify our hours because we don't have enough staffing, which is a bonus, right? You hear throughout the country as well as throughout the Sacramento area that certain pools and certain communities need to modify their open swim hours. We so far have not had to do that. Yes, of course, if we had more lifeguards and some more training, some more staff, that we could do some more, some more lessons. But right now, for us to be able to do the lessons that we're doing and being able to keep our pools open safely for all of our, community members is a plus to Nicole Lowry and her staff. So congratulations to them. I'm looking forward to a nice summer in the pool. Obviously, marketing communications has many hats these days, so Shelby and her staff are doing a good job, and thank you, Shelby, for stepping in to be the clerk of the board this evening. In parks, if you've been over to the Village Green, Shelby created a new sign for the Village Green so we could actually brand the Village Green as a CRPD park, so I appreciate that. It's kind of confusing with the tower over there at the Village Green. We're not, some people aren't sure, is it a city park or is it a Cordova Recreation and Park District park? So Shelby and I worked together to put back up a sign that identified that the Village Green is a park that is owned and operated by the Cordova Recreation and Park District. And then Gary and his staff were so kind to go ahead and put the new sign up. So excited about that. So Shelby, thanks for your help with that. Appreciate it. And then again, congratulations to Chase Michelotti for the graduation for the leadership. Great job. Okay, so events. We have lots of events coming up. The Cordova Cordettes Aqua Show is Sunday, June 30th from 10 to noon at the Cordova Community Pool. Then just a little bit of a fireworks celebration on July 3rd and 4th at Hagen Community Park. So that's going to be both days, July 3rd and 4th from 4 to 11 p.m. There's a 4th of July parade that you all are invited to if you'd like to come and join the CRPD staff. That will be in the parade with a float, and that's going to be on Thursday, July 4th. It says 10 a.m., but if you want to be in the parade, you're probably going to need to get there about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning at the latest. Party in the Park is at White Rock Community Park this year. Super excited for that on Saturday, July 13th from 10 a.m. to 1. We have the California Capitol Air Show, which is earlier this year at the Mather Airport on Saturday and Sunday, July 13th and 14th. And last but not least, Chase Michelotti's favorite holiday is the National Hot Dog Celebration at the Neil Orchard Senior Activity Center on Wednesday, July 17th at 11:30. Come by and visit Chase, who will be eating hot dogs that
Did
day.
you
Are we having a hot dog eating contest?
I don't know, Chase, would you like to have a hot dog eating contest?
Chase Chestnut.
Okay, he's gonna talk to Heather about that.
You versus
How
Heather.
about the little hot dog, the
He
little
just
wiener?
needs to make sure that, yeah, he doesn't get disqualified like Joey Chestnut did,
Yeah,
so.
right.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, because now that Joey's available,
Yeah, Joey's out.
He's gone vegan, hasn't he?
He swallows it
it's just a
whole.
sponsor.
I'm not sure if he went vegan, but
Yeah, he
yeah,
took a
he might have
sponsorship.
promoted, so. With that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to item J, informational items.
Item J1 is articles, correspondence, and public outreach. This month, we have 2 articles, 2 newsletters, and then item J2 is the CRPD board and administration calendar for June and July.
Thank you, ma'am. Does anybody see anything on the calendar that sticks out as not right, or I always ask just because it's written in. Perfect. Hearing none. Say, folks, it's that time to adjourn this meeting to the regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Directors of the Cordova Recreation and Park District on Wednesday, July 17th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you, folks.
Good night, all.
Oh, hot dog days on the board meeting day. See.
So if I come in like